Hello and welcome back to the show. So today I'm sorry I'm posting a little bit late. I did say that I would be posting before market open, but I was a little bit busy. But I just want to go ahead and jump right into the charts here. We're starting with the US 100, the NASDAQ chart, because we did get some pretty interesting moves here at the open. As you can see, we opened with a bearish alignment of the moving averages, which means that the 50 is below the 200, the 20 is below the 50, and the 10 is below the 20, which is why this rally right here didn't seem very convincing to me. You know, you're rallying into the 200 moving average while you've got every single other level of resistance basically still below the moving average. Usually when that thing kind of happens, you do tend to get this kind of price action. At this point, are we going to bounce? Well, we do have our critical level here. We bounced off of it yesterday right at the open as I made the video. We ended up bouncing, coming right back up to this level, critical level here, and getting a lower high. What does that tell us? It tells us that maybe the market is either looking to put in a first wave here, with this being some sort of first wave where we get a higher low. It doesn't even matter if the higher low comes all the way down here or even 1 point from this low. As long as it's a higher low, it's a higher low. And that's how you have to start looking at the markets. But right now, I'm not too sure what's going to happen. 15-minute chart is bearish, as I was saying. We did rally into a crossing of the 20 and the 200 here. And I told you that usually when you get a cross, you usually rally or sell off right back into the cross to test it before moving lower or higher. In this case, we are moving lower for now. Where to? I think there is a high probability now at this point that we take this low out, and that will be losing the 200. So the next level of support here, coming right back around to 14,835. Will that hold? I'm not too sure. You know, this entire area here is another pretty interesting level that I'm looking at, but it's not necessarily my target here, as I've been talking about for 3 weeks now, I think almost. I do think that there's a high chance that we get a new low on the market. Maybe we just start turning from here, but we are starting to lose some of our levels of support here. US 100 1 hour chart. So we'll be looking at this other little box here. If we end up breaking below this one, if we end up breaking below the 200, and we're still going to get a bigger sell-off, expect at some point a bounce back up towards the 50, back up maybe towards the 200. We'll see. But basically, if you're selling off, you're staying below these moving averages in the grand scheme of things. If you do get these kinds of closes, like for example, here we closed under the 200, we bounced right back up. That could be a good signal to buy, but I wasn't ready to buy at this level because we made a new low. And I talked about that. And we came up here. This was another opportunity for bears, in my opinion, not financial advice. But I mean, you're getting a reversal pattern here, which is the evening star reversal pattern. I think morning star or evening star. Somebody comment down below. I have my brain isn't working too well right now. As I'm saying, I'm very busy. But you got a reversal pattern here that ended up being confirmed right here. So we got the pattern. We ended up getting confirmation. Took a little while before we got the follow through, but eventually, after hours, if you actually go back to, let's see, this was 8, 9. So the market closed right up here, right after this candle. So the next 2 bars usually is where you're looking for the follow through to come in. If we go back to the open, I mean, the open from today is right here. So yeah, you go 1, 2. We just got the follow through right there. Are we going to continue moving lower? Once again, watch critical. What I do like to do, I look at every single time frame. You know, if we were probably going to have a big turn, we would be getting some divergences. We're not really getting any divergences here on the 5-minute chart for now. We're holding below the moving averages, which is bullish. Bearish. We're holding below the 10 right now. And when you start holding below the 10 on any time frame, it's a pretty powerful move. And even if it's the 1-minute chart, like you start holding below these moving averages here, it tells you that you're going lower. As you can see here, we had a big sell-off. We are getting some divergences on this small chart, so maybe a little bit of a bounce here. We did get a little bit of a bounce. But once again, this chart I really only use the 1-minute chart to get into my positions. I look for reversal patterns at key areas of support and resistance. Like for example, we pulled right back up to the 200 period moving average in the 15-minute chart, went right back up to the 50 period moving average in the hourly chart, and we got this little reversal pattern here. We got a shooting star. That's the kind of thing that I would potentially try to trade, you know, with a at the end of that candle, as soon as it closes, I would be putting my stop right above this area because, you're at resistance. You usually want to sell at resistance and buy at support, but that is very counterintuitive, and not a lot of people do that because it sounds easy to do, but it's actually a lot harder because usually when you're coming back to support, like right now, you're doing it with a heavy sell-off. So if you believe that the market is going to go up from here and that the lows are in and that we're not going to go below this level, these are the areas where it starts getting very interesting for you to get a position because it is a low risk entry. You see what I'm saying? If you say this is the higher low now, I don't believe we're going to go lower than this, then if it really is the higher low, then you're just not going to take that out and your position is going to be fine. Kind of like the one we talked about right here. We talked about this being an area of opportunity for the bears on this little short time frame, and it was. We came right back up to it critical, but what did we get? We got a lower high, and as you can see, when we rallied back up into that area, we came in super strong. I mean, this is a from bottom to top, this is a 1.71% rally. That's enough to get a lot of people caught, get a lot of people long before doing all of this, of course. So I always want to be watching critical, and that is usually when it doesn't make sense to put a trade in, that's usually when you should put the trade in because that's when the levels of support and resistance come in. Not so clear on that, I hope you get what I'm saying. Just don't go around doing random stuff. But once again, you do want to be looking at levels of support and resistance. That is how you can be successful in this thing and by managing risk, most importantly of all. I do want to take a look at the Russell 2000 because Russell 2000, we had a nice rally off the lows here that we were talking about. We're currently reaching some sort of a level of support here, but I don't know. We'll see how we fare around it. We're right into the wicks right now. We could keep moving lower for Russell, as I warned, but I did warn you about this being potentially a good level to buy. And I did tell you to be watching how we fare around the 10 and 20 period moving averages. Right now, we're turning off the 20. And, with still a bearish alignment of the moving averages going on, which is, once again, the 50 above the 20, which is above the 10. And, of course, all of those above the 200. Where is the 200? 200 is right here as a black line. So we did just get a little cross. As you can see, once again, what happened? We rallied surrounding the cross. You can see right there, we're about to get it. We rallied into it, not right into it, but towards it. Even if you don't usually rally right into the moving averages, I do find that most of the time you rally towards them when they cross. And then now we're resuming the sell-off. So we did get another lower high. So not very bullish for now. We are still watching to see what happens on the Russell. Personally, and I'm just going to tell you this, not financial advice. I opened a little position right around this level. I'm going to hold on to that for now because I don't really care if I come and get stopped out because I do think that the markets are going to rally at some point here. And I did say that Russell might have bottomed. So I will not be releasing that position until it gets stopped out. My position is right around here. Right around here. Stop is right under this level, which is once again what I'm talking about here. Like when you reach a level of support, like right around here, you can start setting your stop loss below here. So I'm still watching to see what happens on the Russell. Do we continue to sell off and take out my my order here? I mean, not my order, but my position, which once again, I do not care. You can't really care about that when you're trading because you're just losing time. And who cares if it takes 10 days to get the trade that you want or 1 day, 1 hour? At the end of the day, all you want is the result. And by being patient, you'll live to see another day and you're going to be a lot more successful. So once again, Russell 2000 here, selling off hard for now, but we are looking to see what happens. We did get this little pattern here. Is it bullish? Is it bearish? I don't know. I do like to see how we usually open around these kinds of patterns. Looks like it opened flat. So I don't know. We'll see what happens on the Russell. We are back at support right now. As I mentioned below, I believe the major opportunities came around here on the Russell when we're reaching critical. And around here, I thought this was a pretty good level. Are we going to get a higher low? If we do, then that remains a pretty good level. But right now we are under the 200. It's usually around these levels where if we don't start seeing a turn here pretty soon, meaning, the next few candlesticks here on the hourly time frame, it might just keep selling. So we are looking at the Russell very, very closely. What's the next chart? Russell 2000. Let me just go back to the S&P just to see what's going on. S&P is also reaching this little level of support here, but trying to bounce at the moment. Are we going to be able to? I don't know. We might bounce, but we do have the moving averages that have bearish alignments. So right now, I mean, it's still looking like maybe I can't really tell. I mean, obviously my positions came up higher. I wouldn't do anything right now. I'll be looking to see what happens. That's just my personal opinion. I have been calling for a new low to form at least here on the NASDAQ, as I think the sell-off isn't over. Like, a lot of people are believing in an end-of-year rally, and I do think that there's a strong possibility we get an end-of-year rally. But in order for that to happen, we need a pretty solid bottom to develop here, pretty solid bottoming process, which means that the whales, the big institutions, all of these players who have a lot of money, they need to be able to, get on the right side of the trade. And the way they can do that here is by selling all of their, buying all of the shares that retail is going to sell. Once we reach capitulation here, you're going to see volumes go up. You're going to see all of these things happen. And that basically tells us that a lot of shares are trading hands. And that's what you're looking for at areas of support and resistance, because that is where big money can get out of their positions, can get into new positions. That's what they need. They need for the S&P, for instance, to come down. Let's say if we came to this area, we would see massive volumes. If we break this, well, you already know fear and greed index is going to be plummeting down to extremes. The retail is going to be selling like crazy. And guess who's going to be buying? The big institutions. They're going to be scooping up all of those shares before the massive end of year rally that could potentially be coming here for the markets. So there it is. I mean, I just wanted to make a really quick video. Once again, I don't have too much time. We are still watching to see what happens here on NASDAQ. We did open below. We didn't open below, but right now we're getting back below the 50 and the 10 here as they're getting across. Are we going to be able to rally off of that? Or if not, then it's starting to look pretty bearish here. But once again, we did tag our little level of support. We are trying to rally. If I just go ahead and pull up the 50, just so we can see where that is situated on a hourly time frame here. Let me just pull it up once again. Get your put the length in, choose your chart. I want the 50-day moving average, and I'm going to set it to orange. That way we don't kind of get confused here with the other lines. So the orange line is now our 50-period moving average here on the hourly chart, sitting right around 1562. We tried to get back above it here right at the open, but we got rejected. Okay, we got above it. We came up to the 50 on the hourly there, green line, and we got rejected. Okay, so once again, I am watching what is going to happen. We are getting rejection for now. Let me just take a look, last thing here, at the 10-period moving average, because we are also surrounding it here on NASDAQ. So the 10, once again, you see that the 10 is basically the 200 here. Okay, so the 10-period moving average is the 200-period moving average in the hourly chart of futures of US 100. So it makes sense that we found some good interest around this level, of course. Once again, we are watching to see if we start dropping back below the 10, can get pretty, can go make a new low. Maybe we're going sideways here. By the way, when I say I think the market's going to make a new low, I think we're more so going sideways around this area, something like this here, rather than just going. I think that the last level of support here, and when I say last, I mean the last level that if we reach here, it would be very extended in my opinion, is this bottom trend line here, which is the bear flag, which pretty much no one is really looking at anymore, I think. And we're still keeping that on our chart because we do think that there is a possibility that we go and tag this moving average. So we'll be looking at all these levels, keeping in mind everything that I've said. We did get a big nasty red bar here at the open. Can the selling continue or can we rebound? I don't know. To me, it's looking like might be trying to sell. So I guess we'll see tomorrow in tomorrow's video. But I thank you for tuning into this one. And make sure to give a like and to subscribe if you enjoy these videos. We've been killing it here recently throughout this entire move. Kind of missed this bottom. We had a short position up here. We got, we bounced off of this trend line and ended up getting taken out. That's fine. Tried to reestablish somewhere, I can't remember, around here. That failed. And then we finally managed to get our shorts right up here. Actually, last thing I want to do is actually just take a quick look at the cash index of NASDAQ, because I do want to show you this. Remember this bear flag that I was talking to you about? Well, we're currently actually trying to bounce off the 200 here in the hourly time frame of the cash index, and we are back into this bear flag. As you can see, yesterday we rallied, and then today we opened lower again. What does this look like? To me, this looks like distribution. Okay, distribution. Usually when you get distribution, you get these sell-offs in after hours. Retail buys it back up during the session, sell off in after hours. So can we start making a new low here and really confirm that, or do we just break this pattern and start making new highs? Now you do want to watch usually around this sort of price action, around this sort of distribution here. A lot of times what you'll get is a few days of distribution where you go lower, kind of go sideways, and then you'll get a gap and go. And that really marks the start of the move down there after the sort of sideways action, sort of first wave. So we'll be watching to see what happens. Make sure to leave a like once again and to subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out on this bear flag level, and just manage risk at all times and stay ready. I'll see you in the next one.